Hey guys, I'm Shakir Mumtaz. This is my first and official and formal vlog which I'm going to produce today. Hopefully, I will be successful because I'm not really trained or I haven't been doing it previously. But anyway, the purpose of this vlog is that I have been writing for about over 20 years in different newspapers, international, national. I've been working on TV as host and also as a political analyst for about a couple of years in Georgia. And apart from being a writer, I thought to just create a vlog to give you a rundown of the activities that I'm doing, especially with reference to the um, writing which is currently going to be published along with this vlog. You might have heard of brouhaha about Hagia Sophia being converted into a mosque by the Turkish President Erdogan. Everybody is up in arms against this conversion, and I thought to dig it down and put the facts in front of people and let's see how it does go. In reality, I was asked about this building or this edifice in 2017 on Quora.com, where I do answer questions on different topics, which include philosophy, economics, politics, religion, psychology, and a host of other topics. And you can also ask me there, or you can send me an email if you like directly, because on that forum, it's a pretty good forum, but still there are people who are reluctant to ask very specific nature of questions. So I offer you this platform to ask me those questions if you have any, please. And I'll try to be as truthful, as candid, and as useful as humanly possible. Getting back to the topic, Hagia Sophia basically was built in 3rd century as a Latin colonnaded basilica. And according to the record and literature, it is thought that it was the Justinian I who started building it. And it was finished in 537. Some say that it was finished by the same gentleman by the name of Justinian I, but other accounts are also there who differ with this and put another name. Say, for example, Socrates has opined on this topic, and he said Quintius was the one who finished it in 537 as an architectural marvel of Byzantine Empire. But from 3rd century to 5th century, there is one thing very worth noticing here, that this period is 2 or 2.5 century before the advent of Islam. So this gives this edifice a different or a somewhat special status as well. And it was one of the marvel of its time, no doubt about that. In between, it has been dilapidated and destructed and looted and whatnot by several occasions, and it has been rebuilt, reconstructed, even modified by different people involved in it, and then consecrated as well. So that is something which is normal with any ancient building. So that's one thing about it. But anyhow, it was finished by Constantius in 537 as a marvelous building. After that, what happened that it was there, I mean, it was under the Roman Empire and also under the Byzantine Empire for quite some time until 1400 when the Ottoman king Sultan Muhammad II conquered the dwindling Byzantine Empire. In that time, it has again been neglected grossly and it was almost in ruins. So much so that it was looted and plundered by Venetians and some crusaders as well. So in 1400, when the Sultan Muhammad II, who was also known as the Conqueror, because he was the one who conquered the major city, which was the seat of Orthodox Christians, Constantinople. He was the one who conquered it, so he was also known as the conqueror. Anyhow, he conquered the city, and at that time there were about 33% of the resident Christians. And when he looked at the building, he approached these people and decided to visit Hagia Sophia. It's about a couple of years after taking care of taking the rein in his hands. He decided to visit Hagia Sophia. Here is one interesting thing that among the Christians of that time, there was a myth going on that if somebody who is not a Christian but belongs to some opposite or different denomination of faith other than Christianity, if he tries to enter or enters the Hagia Sophia, there will be a demon or an angel who will come through the roof and kill that person. But when the Sultan Muhammad II entered the building, nothing happened. So everybody was shocked. And another thing which is worth noting here is that since these people had been at loggerhead with the Ottoman Empire, so they were expecting some very harsh kind of announcement of being expelled or being killed or something like that. But instead, this gentleman pardoned everybody and declared a kind of general amnesty, keeping in line with the Prophet Muhammad, who did the same thing after the conquest of Mecca. So everybody was again shocked, and the result was that within a short period of few years, the city was converted into Muslims, or they just turned into Islam, and there were hardly 3% of the total population was a Christian population in the next few years. At that time, he decided to talk to them again and offer them to buy the building. The idea was that he will take care of this building, which was a magnificent relics of the past, and he wanted to keep it intact. So he paid the funds from his own money, not from the government or Sultanate or Ottoman Empire, but his own money, and he bought the building. And at the same time, keeping in mind that tomorrow after him, there may not be enough resources for the building to be taken care of. So he decided to build a market around it or close to it and a small museum as well and put it under a trust so that nobody can change it or nobody can mess with this magnificent edifice of the past, and it goes on. So it did work out pretty well, and it was a mosque for about 500 years of the Ottoman Empire until the First World War when Kemal Atatürk, a young Turk, enters the scene. He was also known as the Atatürk, which was a title given to him by the Senate or Congress of Turkey of that time, because he has won the Gallipoli War and he also expelled the imperial forces from his country, which was Ottoman Empire, but it was declared by him, according to Balfour Declaration, as the Turkish Republic instead of Islamic Republic. Now, there are quite a few accounts in that respect as well, that why did he not make it a Islamic and rather made it a secular republic. There was a gentleman by the name of Sabatini Zivi, who was a Jew, and in he somehow declared to be a prophet or a Messiah, and he became popular quite a bit, and not only within the Turkish or Ottoman Empire, even outside that, he was also getting popular. So finally, the king of Ottoman Empire got hold of him and forced him to renounce his prophethood. So he was sharp enough, and he was a pretty smart guy. He was an expert on quite a few scriptures, like Bible and other old scriptures. So he decided, he offered to the king that he will rather become a Muslim. And he took a Muslim name and he became a Muslim, apparently. So this group, which is also known as the Crypto Jew, created or initiated by Sabatin Zivi, is known as Don May. And people say that literature indicates to that, or history books indicate to that Kemal Atatürk was part of that Jewish sect. And then, apart from that, there is another account or another interpretation going on, that he was a Freemasonry as well, which is also available in the history books and literature as well. So these are the reasons cited for his making Ottoman Empire a Turkish Republic rather. Not only that he declared that Turkish Republic, he also was under the impression, or somehow he conceived, that after the end of the First War there is a looming Second World War, and he do not want Turkey to be involved in that, because of course the wars are always destructive. So he thought of talking to the Balkan states to enter into a pact, and he also thought of Greece, who had been under the Ottoman Empire for about 500 years. When he approached these states, including Greece, Greece came up with a counter-offer and asked him to change Hagia Sophia back to a church. He thought about it, but somehow he was reluctant to turn it into church again. He declared it a museum instead. And the thought behind that decision was, according to the literature, that this way, because the Turkish Republic was a new government and they do not have the resources to take care of this heavily damaged building. So declaring it a museum will generate funds and goodwill for the country as well, which will be also helpful in securing the Balkan Pact. And I guess it did work out, at least to the extent that UNESCO in 1985 declared it a World Heritage Site and started taking care of it, and ever since has been spending huge sums of money for its upkeep and maintenance. So that's the story about Hagia Sophia, that how it was converted into a museum from church. And another thing which is worth noticing, that it was legally bought by the Sultan Muhammad II from the Christians by paying a sum of money, which is called legally, in legal terms, a consideration for buying something. So it makes it perfectly legal acquisition of the building, and once it is declared his own property or the government's property, he can change it to any shape, and he did convert it into mosque. And later on, when UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site, even that gives the owning state the right to make adaptive use of it any way they feel comfortable with or feel beneficial for it and for the country. So when this gentleman, the current president of Turkey, Erdogan, came into the picture, he did not do it solely on his own volition. Rather, he enforced the Supreme Court of Turkey's decision, which has recently considered the documentation which was signed by Kemal Atatürk, supposedly, and according to some accounts, his signature was forged. And second thing, the trust legally cannot be altered, abrogated, or changed, even by the original donor of the property, if he decide to change his mind later on. So legally, the trust cannot be abrogated or changed, which again renders Kemal Atatürk's decision null and void. So did the Supreme Court of Turkey, and implementation was done by the current Turkish President Erdogan, which is perfectly morally, legally right. And all these dissenting voices, in my opinion, do not have any justification, except if at all anybody has any valid objection, is the UNESCO. They might have some sort of right to object to this conversion, and they should raise this issue with the Turkish government or at an appropriate forum. Apart from that, no one seems to have a valid excuse for objecting to this conversion. Anyhow, just read the article, which is SHAKIRMUMTAZ, then 2 at gmail.com. This is all in one line, shakirmumtaz2 at gmail.com. That's my email, and I'm sorry, the blog is Shakir, SHAKIR2 at wordpress.com. I'm again sorry, shakir2.wordpress.com. Shakir2.wordpress.com. So read that article, and I'll try to put the link underneath either the article or the vlog if I could do that, so that it becomes easy for you. Give me a very candid and not emotionally charged, rational opinion that will help you and help me, so that we can continue this journey which I just embarked on, and hope to see you very soon. And I promise that in future my presentation and the vlogs will be of a much better quality, because I know this vlog is not up to the mark, because it's my first endeavor, and I hope I am at least able to convey what I want to convey. Thank you, and have a nice day.